Mr. Chairman, welcome back.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, Jason. I appreciate it.
Dozens of Democrats signed this letter wanting you to not run for re-election. What is this about?
Well, I'm sure that there's a handful of people that don't like somebody in public office. I don't think that's really news. But I will say after that came out, that letter that seems to be largely disgruntled former staff members, the grassroots of this party really rallied, and I am so grateful for it. Nearly 1,000 folks signed on to a letter, precinct chairs, county chairs, SDC members, elected officials, party leaders across the state, basically saying that, you know, it's undeniable that the party's in a better spot now than it was a year ago, and we need to be focused on the task at hand right now, and that's winning some elections. This inter-party squabbling, it doesn't get our party any further down the road.
And 1,000 people signed on to that letter you're talking about, supporting you.
That's right.
Countering this letter that came out earlier with a few dozen on there. One of the names on the opposition letter was Pastor Freddie Haynes from Dallas. He's, of course, the Democratic nominee to replace Jasmine Crockett in Congress. Have you spoken to him or any of these people on that letter personally that actually put their name on the letter?
You know, I haven't had an opportunity to speak to Pastor Haynes since that letter came out. Pastor Haynes is a great guy, and he's going to serve the 30th Congressional District really well. We are lucky to have him, and there's nothing wrong with people having disagreements about how the party moves forward and this inter-party stuff, because at the end of the day, the inter-party stuff just doesn't matter. What matters is that we are united, focused, and winning elections. And since I've become chairman, we've retired the party's debt, secured a $30 million coordinated campaign. We have a Democrat on the ballot in every state and federal office for the first time since 1972. We flipped a seat in the state Senate. We outvoted Republicans in the primary. We've opened 4 offices additionally around the state of Texas. We've got huge progress, and I'm looking forward to working with everyone on both letters to make sure we're carrying this across the finish line in November.
Your decision to relocate party operations probably led to a lot of this. The closing the Austin office as headquarters and spreading that out across the state, opening the satellite offices, Amarillo, the Valley, and other places like that. Looking back, though, do you think that was a strategic mistake to close Austin as headquarters?
Well, I'm going to push back on your question because that's not entirely accurate. We decentralized the party. We still have an office in Austin. We have offices now in Houston, Austin, DFW, in Amarillo, and in Eagle Pass. And no, that's absolutely not a mistake. This party, the Democratic Party, has to be a 254 county party. It cannot be a party that just camps out in urban areas and tries to call it a day. Doesn't matter how many consultants you lock into a room in Austin, they cannot buy their way out of this problem. When I came in as chairman, we only had 33% of our precinct chairs full. We had 20% of our county chairs vacant. We've been working to fill those. We've recruited and trained over 800 precinct chairs in the last year. We're going to continue to do that, growing the grassroots. It's about organizing in every county around this state, and I think having a presence across this state outside of Austin is important.
Last time we talked to you, you were mentioning that at the time, this was last fall, the challenge was staffing those offices. How many staff have you been able to pick up so far to fill up those positions?
Right now, our coordinated campaign is sitting around 80 staff members, and we're growing. I mean, we're doing great. I mean, there's always going to be growing pains when you're seeing a $30 million coordinated campaign operating in the state for the first time. As a frame of reference, we had about a $3 million coordinated campaign last cycle. And so there's going to be growing pains. We're all kind of learning how to treat Texas like a swing state and get out of amateur hour. But I think that the folks on the ground are ready to meet this moment. Texas Democrats throughout history have met the moment when the country's needed us to, whether that is Sam Rayburn delivering the New Deal, or Lyndon Johnson delivering the Great Society, or Houston scientists putting a man on the moon, or Lloyd Bentsen balancing a budget. When this country needs Texas Democrats to meet a moment, we do it. They need us right now. And so get ready, because in November, this country is going to be talking about how Texas Democrats met a moment and saved this republic.
And you're talking about a coordinated campaign. That's with the party and Texas Majority PAC. Is that who the coordinated campaign is?
We have 4 major partners at the moment and 165 campaigns and organizations that have signed on to it. So the Texas Democratic Party, the Texas Majority PAC, Powered by People, and the HDCC are all in this venture together, and then 165 other partners from around the state.
One of your big wins so far has been eliminating the party's debt, which we've talked about in the past. How much money's in the bank right now?
You'll have to wait for the finance reports to figure that one out, Jason.
But have you been able to fill the coffers? I mean, the party was in debt when you got there. Have you been able to replenish it at all?
Well, absolutely. I mean, we've been able to retire that debt, and now we're expanding our organization. The goal of the organization is not to sit on as much money as we possibly can. The goal of the organization is to raise money in a sustainable fashion so it can grow in a sustainable, long-term way. Because when November is over, the Texas Democratic Party will not be shutting its doors. We are a 365-day-a-year, even years and odd years party now. And so I'm really excited about where we're at, and financially I think we're on par to make that happen.
And can you keep those 80 plus staff members employed after the election's over?
I sure hope we can. I mean, we'll see. Some of those are on our coordinated campaign. Some of those are within the Texas Democratic Party's apparatus. We'll make an assessment afterwards, but I'm just really thrilled about the way that we're going. The Texas Democratic Party is alive and well in Texas, and in the form of great legends in this state, like, Barbara Jordan and Lyndon Johnson and Mark White and Lloyd Benson. We're bringing this party back. Democrats built Texas, and it's our responsibility to remind people it's going to take Democrats to save it from 30 years of Republicans tearing it apart.
And let's talk about that just for a moment. Democrats haven't won a statewide seat in more than 30 years here. Where do you think Democrats' best chances are for a statewide seat this November?
Well, I think James Tellerico is a really exciting candidate, and I think he's obviously where everyone's looking. I don't think you should stop there, though. I'm not saying we're going to run the gambit. I'm not saying we're going to win every seat. I'm not here to lie to folks, okay? I'm a farm kid from East Texas. I just kind of call it like I see it. But I do think that there's some real opportunities. When Greg Abbott takes a $13 million check from an East Coast sugar daddy to defund our public schools and shovel that money to private schools into his donors and his owners, I think that that creates a lot of opportunity for us. He should be held accountable for that. Every Republican in that state legislature that voted for it should be held accountable for that. You can just continue going down the ballot. Look at our agricultural commissioner race. Even the sitting ag commissioner, Sid Miller, is talking about how our candidate is the only one who knows anything about agriculture. I think if you go up and down our ballot, we have great candidates this year, lots of excitement, and finally, we have some infrastructure, Jason. And I think that Republicans should be scared.
Give us a clear metric. What does success look like in November? Is it wins? Is it margin? Is it support, turnout? What does success look like for you?
I think it's a little bit of all of that. But as a party, Democrats have to stop thinking that the strategy is one election. This is a long-term strategy about long-term success of this organization and this state. And if we're just only looking at the fight sitting right in front of us, then we aren't building for the future. I sure wish that 20 years ago, 30 years ago, they'd been thinking about the types of infrastructure investments that would have made my life easier today. And so we're doing that now. So of course, we're focused in on this election, making gains, looking all the way down the ballots to constable races, JP races, county judge races, commissioners races, state legislature. I mean, it is about getting Democrats elected. It is not about winning arguments, it's about winning elections. I'm not running to be Mr. Congeniality. I'm running to pull this party out of a ditch and win some elections. And that's what I think the grassroots wants. Clearly they've rallied and said that that is what they want, and I hope that they'll give me the opportunity to continue for 4 years at the convention this year.
And so despite the letter from those critics we began the interview with here, you're running for re-election as chairman.
I filed on Monday, and we already have more than 1,000 supporters and party leaders around the state. I think that we're all focused, laser focused on what's important and not on this inter-party bickering. Democrats cannot allow ourselves to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory from inter-party squabbling. We are laser focused on the task in hand.
What happens if Democrats fail to gain ground in November?
Well, I'm not sure, because I haven't really even considered that as an option. It's not.
You think either way that something will
Well, I'm saying it's not an option for us to not gain ground, and I'm not even going to entertain that. Don't put that out in the universe, Jason. We are going to make strides. I think some of that will be down ballot. Some of that will just be margins. I think we'll flip some counties back into our direction. I think we're going to be able to accomplish that. You know, it hadn't even occurred to me until you asked that question that we could not make progress this year. I'm determined. I'm rolling up my sleeves. I may not be much of a show horse, but I'm a workhorse, and we're going to make it happen.
Which counties do you flip, in the Valley or where?
I think we'll get some seats, some counties back in the valley for sure. I think Tarrant County is a unique opportunity for the Democrats this year. The county judge there is an absolute clown. He's an embarrassment to the people of Tarrant County, who I think just want a government that does its job and works for them and doesn't demonize people. I think up and down the ballot in Tarrant County, we have lots of opportunity. And then there's counties like Williamson County, Jefferson County, Nueces County. I mean, all kinds of counties. Collin County, I think, is one that we should have a long-range plan in as well. We've been making great progress in Kaufman County. I'm a 254 county guy. If there is a county that we've been getting 10% of the vote in, I'm trying to figure out how to get us 15. And that to me is how we make long-term successes. No county is too small. No organizer is insignificant. We are all in a team moving in the same direction, and that shared goal is winning elections.
Mr. Chairman, good to see you.
Thanks for having me.